After coaching hundreds of women through anxiety, overwhelm, stress, relationship struggles, and personal development, I've learned a tremendous amount. And I'm going to share these with you. This is just my raw and unfiltered experience and observations of the women that I've served. Now, some of these may be surprising to you, but the last one will stick with you forever. If you're new around here, my name's Jaden. I'm an emotional intelligence coach working with women and helping them find clarity amongst their chaos. Let's jump into it. So my first observation is that women have experienced far more pain than they're willing to admit or even know how to acknowledge. And this isn't because they're lying. It's because they've been conditioned to think that their story isn't as big as someone else's, that just because they've had some pain doesn't give them the right to complain about it. And this can show up in a lot of different ways in sessions. So some of the things that I can experience is where a client will say that, oh, her childhood was fine and everything was okay and her parents really loved her. Yet a few questions deeper, we find out that, okay, she had an absent father who only approved of her when she was successful or did great things, that her mum's love was really conditional as well, and that her mum was really stressed out. And so, this kind of gets all washed away, and a lot of women are carrying this just thinking, oh, that's just a part of normal childhood, when really it's actually a deeply profound trauma that's impacted your whole sense of self, your whole identity. And women just aren't seeing that. And that's a small example. I would call that a little T trauma. Then we have other big T traumas where there has been like overt neglect and abuse inside of a family unit, which is just kind of swept under the rug and not fully understood or fully appreciated. And typically it still comes down to that idea of shame. That, oh, I can't complain about this because, there's other people that have got it way worse than me. So, it's totally fine. It's just a part of who I am and it's okay. And, we just get by. No, it's actually a really, really big deal. And a lot more women deserve to have that seen, heard, and understood, which leads me to the next point. So my second observation as a coach is that women are actually starving for validation. And this isn't because they're needy and clingy. It's because it's demonstrating an unmet need. As humans, we need to be validated. We need to be acknowledged. We need to be seen in our pain. And I have so many clients who come to me who just need to be heard, need to know that they matter, and need to know that the pain that they're sharing is real. I cannot tell you how many times a client has come to me and just believes that she's too much for her partner or that she's not worthy enough of sharing what's going on in her life. And some of the most profound sessions I've had with clients is simply just holding space and reflecting to them and saying honestly, like, wow, that's a big deal. You've been through a lot. That must have been really hard. And it breaks my heart as a coach and as a man to see women break down into tears to hear those beautiful but basic words because they don't hear them. They're not able to give it to themselves because they don't feel worthy of it. They don't feel worthy of asking, and maybe if they have tried, it's been rejected. You're too much, you're too needy, I don't know how to handle you, right? From their parents or their partners. And so they start to believe that that's true. And when I'm in session with a client and I get to hold space and validate and acknowledge my clients and I see the shift in them, it's huge. It is absolutely huge. Women deserve to be seen. They deserve to be validated. You deserve to know that you're not too much because you're not. It's simple. You just haven't been served and supported the way that you deserve. You're not the problem. The people who are unable to support you, they're the ones who need to change. My third observation is that women are way harder on themselves than anyone else is. This is massive. I see so many women who just punish themselves relentlessly. And a lot of this, stems from not feeling good enough, not being worthy, not getting enough praise or support or love as a child. And so this perpetual shame spiral that a lot of women face where they just they just destroy themselves. Like one small mistake, whether that be a slip of a tongue or a delay in getting a project through at work, anything like that. And I see this time and time again where women just absolutely crush themselves for it. That is this huge, like, world-ending thing because they've made this mistake. And what I learn about this is that they're really just trying to survive. They're trying to say, hey, I'm punishing myself right now. I'm harsh on myself right now because I can't handle the rejection from other people. Please don't do that to me. I'm going to show you that I'm doing it to myself. That's horrible. It's really, really horrible to see. And I see it all the time. And so women are really hard on themselves. And what they need, again, is support, is reassurance. It's for someone to be there and just say, hey, you don't need to do this. You don't need to take on this burden. You're okay. We're allowed to make mistakes. That's totally fine. Here's how we can support you moving forward. You do not need to punish yourself, to lash yourself in order to prove how sorry you are for something. You're human. You're allowed to make mistakes, and that's okay. You're learning, and that's fine. My fourth observation is that women do not feel worthy of support, like at all. It's a really, really big problem. So I've heard this time and time again where I work with a new client, and she's reported to me that she's actually followed my content for years, but never felt worthy of reaching out. And when I ask why, the pattern is always the same. I've been too busy. I've got to take care of my work and take care of my household, take care of the kids. There's never enough time for me. This, again, is just really heartbreaking. Just seeing that women very many women have just accepted the fact that they're allowed to live on scraps of time, scraps of life, and that everyone else has to go first. And they just believe that, well, as long as my house is in order, as long as the kids are happy, right, then everything's okay. But the problem is that there's so much shame and self-doubt about believing that women are doing a good enough job that they've put a bar so high that they can never reach. So the family's never in order, the household's never put together, the kids are never happy enough, and so therefore personal development or personal growth or personal support is always off limits. And that even if they were to come to the point where they feel like, okay, I'm ready to ask for support, you shouldn't be asking for it. That feeling comes up of, no, I should be able to do this myself. I should somehow magically know how to process my emotions, how to understand all my thoughts, how to see myself clearly, how to bring everything together, how to navigate this difficult situation at work, how to heal my relationship with myself or with my partner, right? And women just think that they should know how to do this. And so again, this comes down to this pattern of shame. The women are suffering from shame to just say, I am not worthy of support. I've got all these things put in place to deny me from asking for it. And even if the conditions are right to ask for it, I don't feel like I deserve it. I shouldn't have to ask for it. I'm wrong. I'm a failure if I need it. And I see this so often. And so much of my work with clients at the start is just learning how to help them feel like they're worthy and deserving of receiving support. This is a bare minimum. It's a bare minimum. Everyone deserves support. We cannot do this alone. Like, we can't. It's impossible. We need it always. And ladies, you've got to understand, if you've come up with any excuse explaining or justifying why you're not worthy for support, that's wrong. It's a falsity. It's a lie that you tell yourself in order to stay small. You're not doing this intentionally. You're doing this for self-preservation because there's some pattern inside of you, some identity or belief that's saying that I must put myself last because that makes me a good person. Well, all it's doing is holding you back. It's punishing yourself, and it's showing your kids that women must go last. It's time to stop that. And my fifth and final observation of women is that they are far more capable than they realize. The beautiful thing that I get to experience working with my clients is seeing them change, seeing the difference in their life and seeing what happens in their life when they apply the learnings from working with me. And it is amazing. I've worked with so many women who've gone through so many different things, things that are just horrible, from deeply traumatic childhoods to lived experiences right now of loss of their partner, okay, of loss of, of their relationship, of loss of loved ones, of just completely going through and rehashing all their inner pain from childhood and stepping out the other side, where before they thought they couldn't do anything. They're unable to lift a finger. They're unable to set a boundary, to advocate for themselves, to share anything. From doing all of that to then completely changing their lives. I want to share just one example. I had one client who, in the first couple sessions working with me, she could not speak. She couldn't say words. Literally, I spent the first few sessions just talking and holding space and just creating safety. Well, fast forward just over a year and a bit, this same woman got invited to Paris, France, to be a keynote speaker at a women's empowerment event. The best, right? Like the absolute best. I just tears of joy, right? So beautiful. And I see things like this time and time again. Women finally setting that boundary with their boss, or finally sharing what they want in their relationship with their partner, knowing how to speak up, knowing how to bring their family together after being on the brink of divorce or separation, learning how to reconcile with their parents who are aging, or bringing their children back into their family after years of no communication. This all happens when women learn to say yes to themselves and trust themselves to step into a new way of living. I love it. I love seeing it. It's so cool to see this. And yeah, I just get to geek out here just personally about how fun it is and rewarding it is to see these women just change their lives for the better, whether it be just overcoming tremendous amounts of anxiety to then being able to stay clear, calm, and collected in situations where they would have freaked out only a few short months ago. That's the sort of stuff that really warms my heart. So to bring all this together, as a man who's coached hundreds of women, what I've learned ultimately is this, is that women are craving support. They're craving to be seen. They deserve to be seen, but they don't feel worthy of it. They don't feel worthy of support. They're too busy putting themselves last and everyone else first. And the work that I do with my clients is to change the narrative, is to say, no, you are capable, you're worthy, you are deserving. These belief systems that you've got inside of you are just a painful past playing and repeating in the present. And we get to shift all that. And when they start truly believing in themselves, anything is possible. I'll see you in the next one.